starting to show. We're finally seeing some different coins and narratives showing signs of life. There's a major shift happening in crypto right now, and if you're not paying attention to it, you might be missing one of the most powerful narratives of this cycle. I'm talking about neobanks. These are digital-first banks built entirely around Web3, and they're quickly becoming the bridge between traditional finance and the on-chain economy. For years, we've been dealing with the same old story of banks shutting down accounts, freezing transfers, and creating barriers for crypto users. Think about it. The average retail investor is going to want a simple way to bring their fiat into crypto, and right now, some of the on-ramps are confusing or just plain annoying to use. That's where neobanks are flipping that script. They're designed to embrace crypto, integrate it into everyday finance, and they might just be one of the biggest on-ramps for mass adoption we've ever seen. But there's one problem. I noticed only 20% of you are subscribed with bell notifications on, so if you want to catch this alpha before the rest of the crowd, then I highly suggest you subscribe and turn on bell notifications. Now let's get into it. So starting with what's been going on in the markets, a huge milestone came from Europe where 9 big banks, including Deutsche Bank, announced plans to launch a MiCA-compliant euro-backed stablecoin. MiCA is basically the EU's crypto regulation standard, in case you didn't know, and this is a massive plus for crypto as it expands the playing field beyond just the United States and brings stablecoin support to investors that want to work with the euro rather than USDT. And speaking of the US, we saw lawmakers continue to press the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, to speed up the approval of Bitcoin in 401k retirement plans. If you don't know why this is insanely bullish, I'll explain. This rule would let millions of Americans invest in crypto through their retirement accounts, and as of 2025, American 401k accounts hold over $9 trillion in assets. This would bring a flood of new money into Bitcoin, driving up demand and price. It also signals growing mainstream acceptance since regulators and lawmakers are paving the way for crypto to be treated the same as regular TradFi investments. Now let's jump into the charts. So even with the US government shutdown, October might be in play. We're seeing Bitcoin continue to slowly climb up from that $109,000 resistance point, with larger layer ones like Solana making a strong recovery as well. As for the total 3, which tracks the market cap of all altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, things are looking better. It jumped from its local bottom of $1.03 trillion early in September up to over $1.10 trillion now. I'm glad to see things are looking better, and some narratives have been popping off harder than others. And if you plan on trading these markets, you're gonna need a good exchange. That's why I just partnered up with MEXC, one of my personal favorite exchanges. They've got all the tools to quickly set up trades, whether it's spot or futures. They have a huge selection of coins, so some of your favorites are very likely to be on there. They're currently doing their Welcome Fiesta event until October 13th, where you can sign up and trade to earn welcome rewards. If you trade 50 USDT of futures, you can earn 10 USDT back, and if you trade 500, you'll earn 20 back. On top of that, they're giving volume-based prizes like iPhones, Amazon gift cards, and even a Rolex. So check out the link in the description if you want to join. Now, I want to zoom into the neobank sector. So what's special about this narrative? Well, the simple answer is that it solves one of the biggest problems crypto has faced for years: access. Traditional banks treat crypto like a liability, constantly deplatforming users, limiting transfers, and creating compliance headaches. Neobanks flip that by making crypto the core feature. It's basically a digital bank that runs entirely online or through mobile apps without physical branches. Unlike traditional banks, neobanks use tech to offer banking services like checking accounts, savings, payments, and of course, crypto trading. Imagine having a checking account that natively supports USDT, USDC, or even tokenized treasuries with easy swaps into fiat when you need them. This opens the door to things like handling payroll in stablecoins, debit cards backed by on-chain assets, savings accounts that earn yield from DeFi, and loans backed by crypto holdings. Pretty huge, right? The options are endless. And one of the clearest signals is how institutions are reacting. Over the past year, we've seen a massive uptick in tokenized assets like treasuries, bonds, and credit instruments moving on-chain. And neobanks are the perfect middleman for those products since they combine that legal compliance of banking with high speed, transparent, and simple banking apps. So a business can hold tokenized treasuries as a cash equivalent in their account, earn yield, and still use that balance for payroll or payments. That's something a traditional bank simply can't match. Now, when it comes to the projects themselves, we're seeing some major companies like Revolut, Cash App, and Nubank start to onboard tons of crypto-friendly features, which is great. But what about a project that's built from the ground up with the purpose of being the go-to crypto neobank? Well, it's a pretty ambitious goal, but one of the projects I found is called Karma. So I came across this project while browsing Twitter, and it caught my attention because it's trying to mix cryptocurrency with the kind of digital banking you see in neobanks like Chime or Revolut. Except it's a dedicated on-chain bank built on Solana, which is important for fast and cheap transactions. Basically, KarmaPay lets you keep your crypto in your own wallet, like Phantom, instead of handing it over to a bank. You can swap stablecoins like USDC into regular fiat and send it to bank accounts in over 220 countries using things like IBANs for Europe or routing numbers for the US. For example, you could turn your crypto into euros and deposit it into a bank account pretty much instantly, which is way faster than traditional banks. It's aimed at crypto fans, freelancers, or people who live in countries that don't have great banking systems. Now, jumping into the charts, of course, this is still a brand new project, so the market cap is tiny. That's why I would definitely suggest being extra careful with this one and make sure to do your own research. This is a very tiny coin. So the Karma token is currently sitting at a market cap around the $1 million range, although it had a pretty big spike up to $4 million after Twitter sentiment around neobanks blew up. Since then, it has been consolidating around that $1 million range, waiting for the next leg up. I think as the team continues to build and attention continues to grow around this narrative, we could see some good price movement. Remember, it's not fully launched yet, and some parts still feel like a work in progress, but it looks like the team has a good head on their shoulders, so I'm excited to see what comes next. And by the way, yes, I did call this one in my Discord when it was even cheaper. So if you're interested in joining a crypto group that's ahead of the curve, you should definitely check out the FireHustle Discord. That's where I spend hours every single day fully immersed in crypto research. My team and I are constantly out there finding the biggest trends, market news, and technical analysis and sharing them with you all before they hit the mainstream. If you're a regular viewer, you know that FireHustle was the first to bring you the AI agent narrative that dominated the last pump. This cycle, we were early on narratives like prediction markets, privacy coins, robotics, arbitrage, neobanks, and more. So if you're interested in joining, then definitely check out wap.com/FireHustle. The link will be in the description down below. So to wrap this all up, this might only be the start for the neobank narrative. Think about how much the world still doesn't have access to quality banking services. Billions of people are underbanked or completely unbanked. Neobanks powered by crypto can step in where traditional institutions won't, offering stable savings, instant payments, and cross-border transfers for pennies. That's not just bullish for adoption, it's a global use case with massive potential. It might be one of those rare moments in crypto where the pieces actually make sense. The world has been asking for a better bridge between traditional finance and the blockchain economy, and crypto neobank projects are stepping up to deliver it. Whether it's handling payroll in stablecoins, offering debit cards backed by tokenized treasuries, or just making it easier for people in underbanked regions to access the global economy, the use cases are real. And unlike a lot of hype cycles in crypto, this one directly solves long-standing problems. Of course, it's still very early. Projects like Karma are tiny compared to giants in the banking space, but that's exactly why paying attention now matters. Just like how early DeFi and NFT adopters caught some of the biggest gains in the last cycle, neobanks could be the spark for the next wave of mainstream adoption. If even a fraction of the trillions locked in TradFi start flowing through crypto-native banks, the upside is hard to ignore. And that's it for today. Remember, just because I'm talking about a project doesn't mean you should blindly invest in it. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and understand the risk before making any financial decisions. And if you want more videos like this, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.